What if we weren't afraid of something on the wing of the plane, or a ghost in the microwave? What if we weren't afraid of virtual reality, but instead chose to embrace it? What could the possibilities be for our future? Or is that wrong? Are we supposed to be repulsed by technology? Does technology have to be soulless, even if it never becomes sentient? Have you heard of the concept of Brownian motion or capillary action? Have you heard of a space elevator or a grain elevator in the history of agriculture? What does it mean for someone to be in a silo? Who is a Minuteman? Once upon a time, there was an augmented reality game, and people were looking at their phones trying to interact with characters, cartoon characters that weren't even there, and people were getting in dangerous situations by not paying attention to the world around them. Is the singularity when people pay more attention to their phones rather than the physical world? And as far as epistemology, how do we know what's true? How do we know what we know? Will that new frame of reference, the technological world, be the real world to the people of the future? And will we seem like cavemen? Have you heard of Plato's Cave, the allegory of Plato's Cave? You should look that up if you haven't. What is a hive mind? Who is Hal? Who is Dave? Have you seen the movie 2001? Is that a good influence? It must be true that an influence, whether it is good or not, and is there a gradation, that must be important as to what kind of information we put into our brain. What kind of information comes out of our brain? What kind of food goes into our bodies? Is it healthy? How much clearer could we think if we were healthier? How much healthier could we be if we never ate anything that was bad for us? Are you aware of the concept of the breath and meditation and the raising of consciousness? Have you heard of New Age or the dawning of the age of Aquarius? Are any of those things real? Many people are worried about central banking. Other people are worried about Bitcoin. My question is, why didn't any of the cryptocurrency outfits, somewhere along the way, if they prioritized it but they didn't achieve it, how is it so that they never achieved it, that their cryptocurrency would be accepted at a point of sale? I never heard of any of those cryptocurrency projects achieving that goal. Did they forget to do that? How many of them really tried? Who did they try to convince to accept their cryptocurrency as a point of sale? Did they ask a bakery? Did they ask the fish market? A shoe store? How about a library? Couldn't they have convinced a library to accept a cryptocurrency as a donation? But I never heard of that either. I'm pretty sure I never even thought of that before this moment right now. You've probably heard of The Matrix. Personally, I think The Matrix Reloaded is my favorite of those four movies, because in that movie they spend the most time in the Matrix doing things that are interesting because they're happening in the Matrix. And it's like being fully immersed in the Matrix. But is that some kind of poor judgment on my part to enjoy that movie for being in the Matrix? Well, I hope not. Am I Fox Mulder or am I Dana Scully? I'm a man, so seemingly I must choose Fox Mulder, and yet those are characters, and perhaps whether it is the personality or their view of life, many would say, like, well, are you a believer in UFOs or a skeptic? Well, I'm a skeptic, so I guess more like Dana Scully. Maybe there's another person, third man, but not the cigarette smoking man. Have you ever had a close encounter? Do you believe we have already traveled through the looking glass? Who watches the watchers? Are we home alone? What is Epcot? Is this year really 1984? Who are they, have the consent of the governed? Have you ever heard of class consciousness or class struggle? Do you know the first principle of the Hippocratic Oath? I hope you'll learn it and follow it. Like a true guiding light, a North Star. That would truly be a paradigm shift.